Pentakill! Hello everybody, it's me, Rhoku, and we're back with some more League of Legends content, and today I've got another brilliant video for you. We all know that in patch 11.13, Riot removed the dash from Stridebreaker, which has caused a lot of changes for a lot of champions, and Darius is one of these champions. The removal of the dash from Stridebreaker has changed Darius' role in the game considerably, which basically means that all my older guides are not as useful and as up-to-date as they could be. And that is why I'm creating this new, complete Darius guide for you to know how to exactly play him in the new meta. Let's go. Before we're even loaded into the game, we have to select our runes and summoner spells, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. For your summoner spells, it's obvious, Flash and Ghost, and for your runes, you want to have this page ready right now. So just open up your rune pages and have this page ready. And what you want to do is, before you load into the game, you want to just change the resolve part, okay? The conqueror part, the precision part is perfect, okay? You rarely want to change any of these runes, but you mostly want to change these parts, and the changes are going to be between these two and these two. If you're up against a difficult matchup that's like a bit more ranged, who can poke you, then you go second wind. If you're up against a guy who can fight you a lot, like Jax or Renekton, who goes in and fights you in bursts, then we go bone plating. If the enemy team has a lot of CC and slows, then we go unflinching, but if they don't have CC and slows, we go revitalize because it helps our shields, it helps our heals, and Darius has a lot of heals with his Q and a lot of shields with Sterax and Gargoyles. So yeah, now that we have our rune setup, let's go into our items. The starter items haven't changed that much. It's either D-Blade or D-Shield. D-Blade is for lanes where you want to fight a lot and you really need the stats to get ahead, whereas D-Shield is more so for lanes where you're either not confident or for lanes where they're going to poke you and just fight you in very short trades. D-Shield in combination with Second Wind is a very, very powerful combo and can help you win a lot of trades that you basically just lost. Up next, we have our epic items. These are just the items that we're going to have to rush in our first or second or third backs before our big items. So here we have our Tabis, in case we got to rush Tabis in lane. We have Executes, in case it's something like Vladimir or Mundo or Aatrox or something. We got QSS, we got Negatron Cloak, Warden's Mail, Brimobelist, everything here, okay? And now we have our usable Mythics section, and this is like the big portion because the fact that Stridebreaker's Dash removed made it so that there are far more mythic options for Darius now. Obviously, you can go basically any of the proper mythics like Gore Drinker or whatever, but these three mythics are basically the three most viable ones, okay? Firstly, Stridebreaker. Stridebreaker is still a viable mythic, it's still useful, but it's just not as useful as it used to be. So if you have to be kind of tanky, but you have to work with your team and just follow up on fights, CC people, slow people down, then Stridebreaker is really, really good. So if someone's fed on your team already, then you might be more useful to your team with Stridebreaker than with the other items. Next, we have Trinity Force, or Triforce as some of us like to call it. Triforce gives you the most amount of damage possible, makes you a dueling monster, you eat up turrets, and it's basically the item you want to go 99% of your games because let's be honest, most of our games we are the carry, so we can't really hope to work with our teams. So yeah, Triforce is the preferred mythic of choice, so when in doubt, go Triforce. Now, you might have noticed that Darius is no longer a very tanky champion. Everybody does way more damage, and we just get one shot, right? What has happened to the game in Season 11 is that Darius is no longer a tank killer. Divine Sunderer makes us a tank killer again. So if you're up against a very, very tanky team, then you can go for Divine Sunderer and just obliterate these big, beefy guys and just kill them in 2-3 hits. Here are all of our usable legendary items. Basically, this is the item pool that you're going to use for most of your games. So here we have all of our useful tank items and useful, damage bruiser items that we can build from time to time. One new item is Anathema's Chains, and we basically build this in a few cases. The first case we can build Anathema's Chains is if you're hard counterpicked in lane. And if you're hard counterpicked in lane, you can just rush this item, point it at them, and win the 1v1. So if you're in a match where winning that 1v1 is that important, then you can rush this item, win it, and then use that to snowball other items. The next case is if the enemy team has one carry, one mage, or one ADC that's just doing all of their damage, then you can get this item, point it at them, and just be like really tanky. And the last case that people don't use it, but I think it's still valuable in, is when they have 4 people who do one type of damage, and 1 person who does another type of damage. In these cases, if you buy Anathemas and point it at the person who's doing the other type of damage, you can basically just build up against the other 4 people. So let's say they have 4 AD damage sources and 1 mage. You can build Anathemas, point it on the mage, and just go full armor, and you'll still be tanky against everybody. So that's the last case I would recommend it into. Okay, so when it comes to the full build examples, I have 5 builds here that you can basically just use as a blueprint, okay? So I have a build here that's basically you versus a full AD composition. I have a build here that's versus a mostly AD composition. I have a build where you're up against both AD and AP. I have a build where you're up against mostly AP, and I have a build here that you're up against a full AP composition. Now, you basically just want to follow these builds and change them based on the game depending on what's going on, but yeah, these should be your basic blueprints for the game. I also have a last special build where if you're up against a lot of tanks, you go this build. This is the Tank Buster build, and it makes you eat up tanks, heal from fights, last long enough, and just one-shot people. So it's a great build if you're up against tanky people, but not so much. Most of the time, you want to choose one of these 5 builds that I've laid out for you. The item set for this build is going to be in the description. All of this is going to be like in-game for you to choose, so you can just go in the game and pick the full item build that you need for that specific game. Okay, so let's just get right into the in-game stuff. Okay, now that we're in-game, let's just get right into the combos. I'm going to go through all the most commonly used ones so that you can basically just be a lot cleaner with Darius. So the most simple thing you can do with Darius is use the W as an auto cancel. So basically, instead of just waiting for 2 autos like this, you can just use W to do one auto right after the other one. So auto W is a lot faster than auto and then W, okay? So W resets your auto attack timer. Another thing you can do is cancel the animation of your W with your Q. So if you press Q, at any point in the animation of the W auto attack, you can do them both at the same time. So look, W auto starts and I press Q. As you see, the W happens in the middle of Q. So that's how we want to use it, okay? So if you do W, Q, you can get 2 stacks in just 1 second, basically, which is very, very, very powerful. Some of you might have noticed that we can combine these 2 things together to make our basic trade combo. So here it is, auto, W, Q. So we have 3 stacks in almost, is in under 2 seconds, basically. So this is the fastest way to get 3 stacks, and it can evolve into our longer combos that I'm going to get into right now. So our first long combo is a fight that you have to start with your E. So you have to use your E to start this one, okay? So E, auto, W, Q, auto, auto, and then you can just go from there and auto attack as much as you want and then ult when they're ready to kill, okay? But the beginning of the combo is very important to get it done right. So E, auto, W, Q, auto, and you can have your ghost up here as well so you can actually just keep up with them and walk to the turret as you kill them. Now, although starting a fight with E is useful versus some champions, a lot of champions have dashes and slows that can let them escape us when we're trying to kill them, which is why it's better to start some fights in melee range rather than using our pool to start them, okay? So here's the melee range full all-in combo. So we do our normal auto, W, Q, auto, E, auto, okay? This gives us 5 stacks in 3 seconds, basically. And it's a very, very nice way to just, we use our E when they're trying to get away too. So we do our auto, W, Q, auto, E, auto. We have 5 stacks. You can do insta R, or you can just wait and then ult them later. So yeah, that's our basic all-in combo that we don't have to start with our E, okay? Which is the ideal case for most all-in. Another case is to make sure that your Q lands. To do this, you basically have to do E into Q, okay? Now, there's a very weird, tricky way to do it. Most players press E and then just spam Q. And this works sometimes, but to make sure it works all the time, you press E, and then you press Q instantly on your keyboard, okay? So I'm going to let go of my keyboard, EQ, and Darius does Q instantly after E. So this is what you do, okay? Point your mouse, EQ, and then you aim the Q once it comes out. If you click in between, he's not going to do the Q, okay? So you have to do EQ, wait for the Q, and then start walking. And if you do it correctly, the Q will land before, while they're still airborne, so they have no chance to dodge it, even if they have flash or something. Now, the reason we get flash on Darius all the time is because Darius with flash and Darius without flash are 2 completely different creatures. And I'm going to go through how you can make flash work with each and every single one of his abilities. Flash works very simply with Q. It's very intuitive, okay? Let's say someone's really low HP and I want to kill them with my Q, okay? So I do Q, and then I flash into range and just hit them at the end there, okay? And this is basically a way you can get a ton of kills as a Darius player, because a lot of players don't expect it, okay? So you do Q, and towards the end of it, you flash in, and they have very little time to react if they don't expect it. So yeah, flash Q, you have to just practice it and get it down perfectly. Otherwise, you're going to miss a lot of kills. Another way you can use Q is versus champions who can dash in on you to dodge your Q, okay? You know how in the inner zone, people take way less damage? Some champions have dashes, they can just dash in, and Jax or something, they dash in, and they basically just avoid your Q damage. To circumvent this, you press Q, and when it's about to hit them, you flash to the side, okay? So even if they go on top of you, you're hitting them and where they used to be, so they're basically just guaranteed to be hit by Q. W flash. Now, W flash is a very basic integration. You can do a W flash as an execute, and because it's an auto attack instead of a Q, even if they flash away instantly, the W will still it'll still play out, basically, okay? The other way you can use your W is just hit them and then flash away in the middle of the animation. Now, this is useful for if you want to get that last hit in, but then back away before they can kill you. Let's say you're up against, like, you know, some champion who can actively kill you, but you know that that one last stack is going to make sure they're going to die to the bleed. So you do W, you start it, and then you flash away instantly. And this way, they're just going to be slowed. They're going to bleed to death, and they can't walk up to you. You can just, you know, get out of there as they bleed to death like a cool Darius player. Flash's usage with E is very simple. If you have to engage for your team, you can just do Flash E. If there's somebody on the enemy team that you have to catch, like a very important ADC or something, you can Flash E. And it's very simple, right? It's just a nice team fight engage that you can use. We can also use our Flash with our ultimate. So there are multiple ways to do this, okay? The first way you can use Flash with our ultimate is this, okay? Let's say we're up against an Ezreal. If you do Flash R, he has some time to react. Let's say he has 10 milliseconds, but that's still 10 milliseconds where if he E's away, then you can't click on him anymore. Due to this reason, we want to press R first and then flash into range. As you can see, Darius does ult instantly when you flash into range, which basically means that the enemy has no time to react, okay? Another way we can use our flash with our ultimate is by ulting in the middle of it, like that. It's basically the same as ulting in the middle of W, but it's just with our ultimate, okay? It's very useful for if you want to just kill one target, and then want to get to a target that's here and then kill them quickly as well. Now that we cover how to use our flash, let's cover how to use Ghost, because a lot of people don't understand when to Ghost, okay? The simplest case to know when to Ghost is after you pull someone, okay? Let's say I'm like laning with this guy and I pull him, and the second I start my pull, like I pull him, then I Ghost, okay? This is because the fight has officially started, I have engaged, and I need my Ghost to keep up with them despite their dashes and stuff, okay? So that's like the easiest case you can Ghost in. The other case you can Ghost in is, let's say there's a fight happening somewhere and you're not there yet, you can just Ghost and get there. And this is only possible because if you get a kill with Ghost, like if you get a kill when Ghost is activated, it's going to extend the duration of the Ghost. So let's say there's a fight happening here, it's 4v5, your team's dying, but they got someone really low, you can just Ghost in, execute that person, and then kill everyone, okay? So you can use Ghost this way as well. The last and possibly the most skillful way to use Ghost on Darius, and this is how most high-low Darius players use it, is to wait for that one key ability from your enemy. What do I mean by this? Basically speaking, every single champion has one ability that stops you from just killing them instantly. Set W, Mordekaiser W, Camille Hookshot, you know, every single champion has this one ability, and let's say you're just CSing and Set wastes his W to kill a cannon. Then you just press Ghost, walk up to him, and you kill him. And he can't do anything against you to stop you. If you have good enough champion knowledge, then you can just wait for that one key ability and just Ghost up on them and kill them. If you want to know more about matchups, then you can click on my Darius matchup tier list video, where I go through every single matchup in the game and explain how you should beat them. There's a timestamp in the comment section on that video, and you can basically keep this video before every single match and just check out the matchup before the match and then basically be ready to beat their face in. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.